years, the longer that the people had their antibodies. There goes the light. So I had them in. Yeah, me too.
Good evening, everyone. And welcome to our 16th annual Top 20 recognition. At this time, I'd like to recognize any Board of Education members. If they could please stand and be recognized, and thank you for all the hard work you do for our district. Thank you. Also, if you could have any administration in the central office, if you could stand, please, and be recognized. Mr. Tom Burton, Superintendent, Associate Superintendent, Dr. Mary Phillips, and Libby Stiles. Thank you very much. Then, do we have any alumni here with us in Matthews? Thank you very much. All right, go Vikes. And lastly, a true appreciation to the parents for all what you've put into your son and your daughter, and celebrate them tonight. At this time, if you all could stand and join me as we salute the flag and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If you could remain standing. Sorry about that. If you could remain standing. We're going to have Madeline Sherwood come out from our a cappella choir, and she's going to do our national anthem. Maddie?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets racket, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You know, before we bring out Mr. Walker, our students are so incredibly talented. I'm amazed of all the different extracurriculars that they are involved in, and plus maintaining that high standard of education. In saying that, it's my pleasure to introduce our 12th grade principal, Mr. Tim Walker, who will guide us through tonight's recognition. Mr. Walker.
Good evening, everyone. We are extremely proud tonight to introduce you guys to our class of 2021 Top 20. So to get this night started, I'm going to introduce to you Miss Kate Lampy to start us off the night.
This student I am about to present to you is someone who never fails to make me smile, and that's likely because he never fails to have a smile on his face. While I understand that masks have been necessary for most of the last year, it's strange to think that I haven't seen most of my students' smiles for that entire time. I've known him now for 2 years as a member of both my IB English 11 and IB Theory of Knowledge classes, and I don't think I've ever seen him in a bad mood. Sure, he's had his moments of disgruntlement or disappointment or dismay, but never for any significant length of time. I think it's just in his nature to have a preternaturally sunny disposition. Last year, in the pre-pandemic days, when we didn't know how good we truly had it, he would drop by my room to chat on a regular basis. Really, more than the time we spent together in class, these impromptu chats were how I got to know him better. Otherwise, I'm not sure I would have learned about his passion for social justice or figured out that he has a truly terrific sense of humor. For each of the IB classes that I have taught, every year I post a blank, poster-sized piece of paper and entitle it The Wall of Infamy. And over the course of the 2 years that I've had him in class, he definitely made the Wall of Infamy far more than the average student. I'm going to miss him a lot next year. I'll miss him strolling through my door, ready to spill some tea. I'll miss his ability to talk about pretty much anything. I'll miss his kindness most of all, though. This year has been a tough one on all of us for a variety of reasons. And this student has more than gone out of his way to say something nice or do something kind or otherwise let the people around him know that they are valued and appreciated. While I've encountered plenty of nice kids during my time in the classroom, it's not nearly as common to encounter a student that I would describe as a good and genuine person, because there's a difference. And the student next to me is an example of the former, a good and genuine person who's going to go out into the world and leave it better than he found it. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Aiden Morganoff.
Good evening, everyone. It is truly an honor to stand here before you tonight. To be honest, I never thought I'd make it here. All throughout high school, I strived to be the best I could be, academically and personally. I was able to reach most of my goals, like being in top 20, despite the battles I've fought and the mistakes I've made along the way. Since middle school, I've had my highs and lows and my ups and downs, but just like everyone else, we work through it and we use these failures and mistakes to help better ourselves for the future. I want to thank my family and friends for everything they've done. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. I also want to thank my teachers. Princeton teachers are some of the most supportive, understanding, and compassionate people on the planet. They do whatever it takes to help make sure you succeed, not just in their class, but for college, career, and life success. They also care about each individual student and about their well-being. Look at all of the wonderful teachers you'll see tonight. Each of them is a prime example of Princeton excellence. Finally, I want to recognize those ahead of me, the other 19 of my peers. I know how tirelessly they've worked to achieve academic excellence. They are some of the best people to represent this school, and they are one of the reasons I'm proud to be a Viking. On that note, I have one last thing to add, and it's a quote from our principal. And as always, go Vikes. Have a great night, everyone.
When they hear you when you thought they wouldn't listen, it's like an anthem that the whole world's singing. Hands are in the air.
So for our next student, I would like to introduce Mr. Bridges.
Good evening. Thanks for coming. Many of you can probably relate with me when I say, in high school, I was not what you would call a model student. I certainly was not among the top 5% in my class like these young folks here. My parents, they did a good job of raising me to appreciate education, but I was still just a kid with sort of a blasé attitude towards academics. And that changed when I got to college. For most of us, that first 4 to 5 years after high school is when we grow up and learn what real life is all about. Lost my spot here. When we make the transition from being adolescents to adults. These life skills that I learned in and after college, these are what make Brooklyn Bowen stand out as a high school student. Brooklyn has already figured out how to learn for the sake of knowing. She has applied for and received more scholarships than I think that I ever even knew existed. She has, with the help of some amazing family out here and some pretty good teachers, she's learned how to think critically for herself. She's learned how to find the information that she needs, even when it's not given to her, and maybe most importantly, how to advocate and achieve her own success. Brooklyn has mastered all of these invaluable life skills before graduating. Think of the solid foundation Brooklyn has built for herself. Now, think of what she might accomplish in these next 4 years and beyond. It is without a doubt in my mind when I say Miss Brooklyn Bowen will change the world for the better, whether it be in the field of engineering or any other endeavor she chooses to pursue. Our country and our planet will be better off with Brooklyn's impact. Please join me in congratulating and wishing the very best of luck to Miss Brooklyn Bowen.
Good evening. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the students who made it into top 20. I am honored to be a part of such an amazing group of hardworking and dedicated students. Although these past 4 years may have been a challenge, we've managed to persevere and ultimately come out on top. This experience has definitely taught me how you can set any goal for yourself, and as long as you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. Of course, this accomplishment is something that I did not do alone. I'd like to thank my family, friends, and teachers for all their support and encouragement, because without them, this moment would not have been possible. I will continue my academic and athletic achievements this fall at Virginia State University. However, I will always be a Viking. Thank you, and as always, go Vikes.
For our next student, please join me in welcoming Miss Kate Lampy.
Hello, it's me again. Part of being a high school teacher is having the secondhand experience of watching someone truly come into their own. It's just the nature of the beast. It's kind of a strange experience to relive the joys and agonies of high school from the vantage point of knowing that things will, in fact, turn out, even when it seems like they might not in the moment. And while it might not always have been obvious to this next student, I have never doubted that she would be anything less than great. I met this next student toward the end of her sophomore year as she was preparing to take IB English 11 the following year. During her time in that class, when she was a junior, it was a challenging time, not least because the final quarter of it was spent in quarantine because of the pandemic. Junior year is like that. Classes get tough and things get real, and that's a lot to grapple with. When we returned to the classroom in August of 2020, there were still so many uncertainties surrounding what school would look like and what we could and couldn't do in our efforts to stay safe and healthy while still trying to maintain some semblance of educational normalcy. But one thing that was certain was this student's sense of self-assurance. She arrived to room 1251 with a completely different demeanor than she had left it when we abruptly closed up shop the previous spring. She just didn't care. And I don't mean that in the sense that it likely sounds, because of course she cared about her grades and maintaining friendships and making the best of a wonky senior year. But as far as the expectations and perceptions of others, she found the freedom of letting go. And it was truly a beautiful thing to behold, because it is never not a joy to see someone become comfortable in their own skin. You know, it's funny. This year, for most of the year, we operated on the scarlet and gray hybrid schedule. And because of the makeup of the roster for TOK, this meant that I had 3 students in person on Scarlet Weeks and only 2 students in person on Gray Weeks. It isn't lost on me that the 2 students from the Gray cohort have asked me to speak on their behalf tonight. A class of 2 in-person students has the very real potential of turning into a silent, awkward disaster, even with the addition of the 8 or so additional students playing along from home via Google Meet. But that wasn't the case for us. Whether we were discussing which cat map was the best cat map, or attempting to decide if Marina Abramovic's The Artist is Present is, in fact, art, the discussions never waned. I consider myself incredibly fortunate to have been able to spend my gray weeks in such good company. It has been truly an honor and a privilege to get to share an intellectual experience with them for 40 minutes a day, 5 minutes a week. Well, that's 40 minutes a day, 5 days a week. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Awa Chop.
Hi, my name is Awa, and my time at Princeton High School was an eventful, exciting, sometimes heartbreaking, transformative, but most importantly, memorable experience. I underwent many changes and learned valuable life lessons of friendship, success, and discovering myself here during these last 4 years. The first time I felt that I wanted to drive towards my success was at the graduating class of 2019's Top 20 ceremony. I was there to take pictures for the yearbook, and watching all the seniors come up on the stage one by one and listening to their experiences, their success stories, and sharing their final moments together made me envision myself being up on this stage, sharing my same final moments and feeling that same success. I can tell you that today I feel so grateful and honored to be here and to have worked so hard to get into the top 20 of my graduating class. I want to congratulate all the rest of my top 20 classmates for working extremely hard, and I want to thank all my teachers for giving me the best education and setting me up for my future success. I want to thank my counselor, Ms. Grable, for always being there for me and motivating me. I want to thank Ms. Lampy for being one of the most down-to-earth, funny, relatable teachers I've ever had. I'll miss our discussions and learning valuable life lessons from you and having a strong, intelligent, and kind teacher to look up to. You are an amazing teacher and a wonderful person, and I'll truly miss being in your class. I want to thank all of my friends who stuck with me and gave me love and support, and I want to thank my family for being there for me every step of the way. I couldn't have made it up here without them, and I am extremely thankful and proud to say that I'm attending the University of Cincinnati for nursing.
So before I introduce our next presenter, the student that she is going to be introducing is going to leave us immediately after this presentation because she is a current member of the water polo team, and they are currently in action over in the pool over here in district competition. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but please just, when you see her leave, let's congratulate her and congratulate our team. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mrs. Schultz.
Hello, I am Leslie Schultz, music teacher here at Princeton High School, and I have the absolute pleasure to introduce Miss Rachel Hammonds. I first encountered Rachel when she was in 6th grade, playing the role of young Tuck in the musical Tarzan, the last production and performance at the former Matthews Auditorium. Rachel doesn't remember much about those encounters with me, but I do. And I saw what a kind and compassionate young lady she was even then. I started having regular class encounters with Rachel starting in the 9th grade in the PHS Symphonic Orchestra. And I knew that while a music career was not for Rachel, music would be a lifelong pursuit for her as a consumer, performer, and supporter. I could see through her activities of water polo, VCE, NHS, Tri-M, and Hope Squad, Rachel would go to do great things, both at Princeton High School and in her future plans. I remember leading her and other members of the bass family, which is a thing, through sectionals and ensemble performances for solo and ensemble contests, helping them on their travels to Hawaii with holes in basses and broken bows, and Florida with, lots of encounters that are a little bit more challenging with basses. Through all of that, a bond was formed. Even though I was never Rachel's teacher of record. So to Rachel, I say to you, it has been a pleasure watching you grow and change over the years. Be the helpful advocate for all people that you are and will continue to be. and to see the pure joy that is on your face when you perform, whether in choir, orchestra, or in the water polo pool. Always take the music with you, and I am honored that I was able to inspire you in whatever small way I could. As I say to a lot of seniors, don't be a stranger. I hope to hear from you from time to time, and with your future plans, you got this, girl.
It's been a long time since I've actually written a speech, and so I'm a little underprepared, but it's fine. I did not think high school would go by this fast. I did not think that I would end up here, and I just want to say thank you for anyone who's ever been a part of my high school experience, who's ever supported me, and who's ever offered me words of wisdom or words of kindness. Thank you.
All right, so our next presenter is going to be Mr. Jordan Stevens.
Good evening, everyone. I have had Nathan in CCP English for 2 years now. And after getting to know Nathan over the past couple of years, we've grown pretty close. Over these years, the single most important thought that comes to mind when describing Nathan and our friendship is that he is always the voice of reason. From spontaneous investment questions to parenting advice to music choices, Nathan is far beyond his years. He's the perfect combination of knowledge and wisdom. One of the most important things I've learned from Nathan is that knowledge and wisdom are two totally different entities. Even though Nathan understands that he is both knowledgeable and wise, he has helped me understand that having more than one of the other doesn't make you any less intelligent. And for those reasons, I truly thank Nathan. I'd like to say that I'm extremely proud of who Nathan has become and how honored I am to be standing with him here today. Nathan, I absolutely admire the young man you are becoming. I know that you only continue to grow and mature into the leader that helps create more leaders of the future. Without further ado, I'm honored and proud to have the privilege of introducing Nathan Anderson.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. I'd like to thank everyone that helped me get here, my family, my friends, the admins, and most importantly, all the teachers who were with me all 4 years. Everyone has been memorable. I can remember every single teacher that I've ever had, and I have nothing but good memories with all of them. So I really appreciate it.
So, as I mentioned earlier about Rachel and being on the water polo team, well, we have 2 water polo team members in the top 20. What an amazing accomplishment for 2 student athletes to be in the top 20. And so this next person is also in the top 20, and she can't be with us because she's actually in the pool right now. But here's what we're going to do though. So we're going to show her picture here and also over at the pool. They're showing her picture as she gets introduced tonight. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Shank.
Good evening. I was afraid that after following Mr. Stevens and Nathan both, I was going to have to adjust the microphone, but that won't be the case. Naomi, who couldn't be here tonight because she's across the hall with water polo and regionals, I'm sure she's going to do well and she's going to represent Princeton as it should be. So let's give the water polo team one more round of applause, please. We wish her and her team the best of luck tonight. So when Naomi asked me to walk her for the top 20, I was honored to be a part of her important night. She was always a great student that I had in my Algebra 2 class a couple years back. She was always a great math student, very intelligent, very hardworking. And what really struck me was how much she understood material, despite the fact that she was always trying to watch Netflix at the same time. I knew that she was never laughing at me and my dad jokes. She was always laughing at Friends because it was a funnier show. Joking, of course, she only did that a handful of times. Then during her junior year, she was my TA and had no problem jumping in to assist EL students as they tried to learn Algebra 1. She always would walk up and down the rows and make sure her kid understood what was going on. She provided a sarcastic joke to them or to me, and was really a great help. And as a side note, also brought me a coffee on my birthday, so brownie points for her on that. I always remember how great of a personality she had and her sense of humor as well. Naomi's been very busy here at Princeton, obviously besides her time on the water polo team all 4 years. She's had 2 years of Honor Society, 2 years of Key Club, 2 years of chess, and 3 years of academic quiz team, 3 years of symphonic band, 4 years of choir, and amongst other things, because I have to limit this for time, let's not forget that she was also a lifeguard for 4 years, and she interned with Procter & Gamble. It's not hard to see why she was a member of the top 20, and it speaks to how hard her and all the other students this evening have worked to get over the top 20. Congratulations, and know that Princeton is proud of you, Naomi. We will miss you, but we know that you'll be successful in college and beyond. So thank you very much, everybody.
That's awesome, isn't it? Just an amazing accomplishment for our students. So please join me in welcoming our next presenter, Ms. McCallum.
Good evening. I'm Rebecca McCowan, and I've been a Bigia Cabete's business teacher for the past 3 years. I'm honored to introduce her to you tonight. I met Abigia in her sophomore year in my Introduction to Business class. During that year, Abigia began participating in DECA, which is a marketing club for students enrolled in business classes. It didn't take me long to realize how special she is. She's been a dedicated student the past 4 years and received several honors and awards. Those include being a member of the National Honor Society and the National Spanish Honor Society. She's been named Student of the Year by several departments and is a decorated DECA competitor, receiving multiple awards at the district and state levels. Abigia has also been actively involved in student council and Key Club. I could go on and on about all of her achievements, but I would really like to tell you what kind of person she is. She's kind, thoughtful, generous, and funny. She commits herself fully to everything she does, and she's not afraid to challenge herself. Abigia has a quiet strength. She is confident in her abilities and works hard to accomplish her goals. She wants the people in her life to be proud of her, but what pushes her is an internal drive to be her very best. In addition to all of these things, Abigia is passionate about social issues. She follows current events and enjoys lively discussion about them. Her opinions are informed and strong. We have had many conversations in which she has left me thinking more deeply about issues and often from a different perspective. I have no doubt that Abigia is going to leave her own special mark on the world, and I can't wait to see what it is. Abigia, I'm so proud of you, and I know many other people here tonight share in that pride.
And I am thankful to be here. What this moment means to me is hard to describe, but it fills me with so much pride and joy. This moment signals the beginning of a hopeful future that I know that each one of us will go on to do great things. This experience taught me the value of education and how it is a gift that must be cherished and we must use it to our full advantage. With that being said, I would like to thank my family as they have sacrificed so much so that I may have a better education and be where I am today. I would like to thank my teachers who encouraged me to strive for my best and made me see beyond what I had imagined for myself. Most of all, I would like to thank God who has guided me and has given me strength throughout my life. I am grateful to be a Princeton Vike because I know that I will lead with the values that I have learned here and will cherish the memories that I have made. The Princeton experience is a valuable one that I hope many more will get to experience as I have, and for that I will always be grateful.
Our next presenter is Miss Holiday.
Good evening. I'm Lindsay Holliday, the IB art teacher and the art department chair. Elena has been in my art classes for 2 years now. The best thing about teaching the same students for multiple levels is seeing how they grow while getting to know them. I have really enjoyed getting to know Elena over the past 2 years. Even during quarantine, she showed up at every Zoom call and has always been so positive and bright. In art class, I get to see students work in different ways than they do in other classes. Each student approaches their work differently and each product is unique. One of my favorite things about Elena's artwork is that she loves to seek different ways to create that includes problem solving and a unique approach using mixed media in inventive ways. One of her artworks from this year, titled Patterns of the Season, was one of my favorite of her award-winning artworks that she has created. Her thoughtful concepts led her to paint patterns on leaves and then stage a photo shoot with another one of our lovely seniors, and the result was stunning. Elena is sweet and kind and funny. She is a hardworking student and takes pride in all that she does. She is thoughtful and insightful. She is a powerful young woman with a lot of integrity who will continue to do amazing things. This is just the beginning. I feel lucky to be a part of that. I'm super proud to present to you Elena Manin.
Thank you, Miss Holiday. Class of 2021, we have finally made it. With just 3 days until graduation, we have finally completed our years of learning at Princeton High School. Even while living through a global pandemic, I have made wonderful memories with my fellow classmates and teachers that I will cherish forever. High school was not easy, but I was so fortunate to have such amazing people helping me along the way. Without the support from my parents, teachers, and friends, I wouldn't be standing up here today. So for that, I thank you. I am so proud of everyone here in the top 20 and all of our other graduating seniors. We have all worked extremely hard, and it is finally paying off. Congratulations to all of our 2021 seniors. Go Vikes!
Our next presenter is Mr. Logan Ritter.
Good evening. Tonight I have the honor of being able to introduce you to Mr. Damian Tilley. Knowing Damian is one of the most down-to-earth and humble student athletes that I've ever been around, I know that he'd never say any of the following things about himself, so I'm going to do it for him tonight. While he makes it look seemingly easy, I can assure you that no one has worked harder than him to put himself in the position he finds himself in today. In the classroom, the numbers speak for themselves, earning a 4.28 GPA in the most challenging courses Princeton has to offer, in addition to the rigorous after-school schedule he has, speaks volumes to his dedication, character, and work ethic. I also got the honor of being able to coach him over the last 2 years. A few short weeks ago, Damien stepped off the mound after a dominant performance over the best-ranked preseason team in the city. As a fan, seeing him defeat this incredible opponent might have fooled you into believing that this was easy for him, that this had always been a talent thing, or that there were no obstacles along the way for him. To that fan, I'd say that quite the contrary is true, and that Damien's story was full of trials and tribulations. Damien didn't have a single college offer heading into his junior year, when the pandemic stripped him of showing everybody what he had worked so hard for. Instead of making excuses, giving up, or feeling bad for himself, Damien went to work. Over the pandemic, we would hold daily video calls, socially distanced workouts, and throwing sessions to help him reach these goals. And while he thought he was being a burden to me, little did he know he was actually making me a better coach, man, and teacher, and I admire his drive and determination. Slowly before my very eyes, these conversations and workouts between a coach and player transformed to a lifelong bond between a big brother and little brother. Kids like him are the reason why we do what we do. As much as I'll miss these conversations and him leading our team in school, I have no doubt in my mind that he will continue his greatness at Franklin College over the next 4 years. It is with great pleasure and pride that I introduce to you a young man who has earned everything that's coming to him. Second team all-conference pitcher in class of 2021, top 20 member, Mr. Damien Tilley.
I just want to take the time and thank those who supported me throughout all the years, through not only school but life in general. I can't thank my mom and dad enough for all that they've done for me, putting up with me all these years and paying 3 times what the normal grocery bill costs a family. I want to give a shout out to all my coaches, especially Coach Shapiro and Coach Ryder, for all the sacrifices they made for not only me but for the baseball program as a whole. I wouldn't be in the situation I'm in now without their help. I want to give a big thank you to all my teachers from elementary to the end of high school for pushing me and keeping me on track. I'm excited for what the future holds. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming our next presenter, Mrs. Heckman.
Hello. I have the honor of introducing Amayawe Joshua. First of all, I'd like to thank Amayawe for asking me to speak on her behalf this evening. It is an honor to introduce such a remarkable young lady. Amayawe and I have spent a lot of time together in the past 2 years. As a member of the Youth Built Change research class in AP Biology, I saw her two bells a day last year. This year, I was fortunate to get to work with Amayawe again as a member of IB Biology. Her commitment to learning and bettering herself has been evident in my time with her, and I'd like to share one specific example of that with all of you this evening. After Amayawe survived her Heckman quarantine responsibilities of successfully presenting her final research project for YBC via Zoom, earning top marks on AP Biology last spring, we said our virtual goodbyes, and I told her I'd see her in August in a much more normal school year. And I didn't realize how badly I had lied to her at the time. As August approached and the district plan for reopening was shared, it became apparent I'd be teaching while wearing a mask. While I wasn't thrilled about the prospect, I didn't consider what this would mean for Amayawe. You see, Amayawe reads lips in order to hear what people are saying to her, and a teacher with a covered mouth might as well be a rock for Amayawe. The solution? Just get her a sign language interpreter. That'll work. Except Amayawe didn't know sign language. She knows like 5 other languages and dialects, but that lip reading thing had worked pretty well for her until everyone around her wore a mask and her world fell silent. She was assigned a sign language interpreter, and then just learned sign language. Like in a week. She knew she'd have to learn it if she was going to continue with her schedule and learn stuff like IB Biology and AP Chemistry and AP Calc, so she just did. Near as I can tell, Amayawe won't back down from a challenge. If she has to learn something, she will. She is an amazing young lady, and she has so much to offer the world. Best of luck to you, Amayawe. Hope the world is ready for you.
Hello. Good evening. I honestly was not made aware that we were supposed to make a speech and give it to each other tonight, but I'd just like to take a few moments to say a few words. If you'd asked me maybe like 3 years ago if I was going to be in top 20, honestly I would have been like, top 50 maybe, but like not top 20. But I have a lot of people in my life that believed and still believe in me, like Miss Heckman, obviously. And my mom, who's sitting in the audience tonight recording me. I hope you're recording me. I'm glad to embark on this new chapter in my life with a lot of people behind me and a lot of people in my corner. And for that, I'm thankful and grateful, and I'm gonna stop talking now. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming our next presenter, Mr. Jim O'Connor.
Good evening, everybody. Excuse the slightly casual attire. I was working late, had to choose between changing clothes or going to Skyline. The cheese conies won. It's my distinct honor and privilege to introduce Matthew M. I had Matthew in my AP Human Geography class, and from the first time I said, "Good morning, my name's Mr. O'Connor," to "Good luck on your AP exam," Matthew was locked in. He sat in the back of the room, and there was a taller student in front of him, and I would just see Matthew move his chair just to really focus in. He got a 5 on the AP exam, and only around 12% of students get a 5, and that was at the sophomore age. His junior year, I was glad to see his name on the class list for Ohio mock trial. I made him a witness on the defense side, and his cross-examination, and I was so glad that his dad was there to watch, was one of the best cross-examinations I've seen in my 20-plus years of doing Ohio mock trial. You can prepare kids for that, but you have no idea what the cross-examination is going to be like, and he handled that incredibly well. Then this year, he picked up where he left off, did a great job in honors, economics, personal finance. But more than anything else, and probably what his parents like to hear too, is he's a good guy. High school students, 10, 20, 30 years from now, when you have your reunions, your classmates will remember how you treated them or how you treated other people. And in that regard, Matthew has also got a 5. So it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce Matthew M.
Good evening. I just want to give a quick thanks to all my teachers for challenging me and creating a good environment for me to learn for these last 4 years. And I also want to give a good quick thank you to my parents for showing up tonight and for always being there for me for the past 4 years of my high school. So thank you guys.
Please join me in welcoming our next presenter, Mrs. Setters.
Joey was in my AP US History class last year, and I was immediately impressed with her dedication and work ethic. Joey sat in front and was always fully engaged in class. What really impressed me was her day-to-day dedication. You know, some kids can give it their all in some days, but Joey was always enthusiastic about learning and engaging. When things were a challenge, Joey listened and took advice and worked hard to do better. She is so very kind and respectful, and she truly enjoys learning. And as we can tell from her attendance here tonight, this has been a consistent pattern throughout her high school career. But Joey is so much more than an intelligent young lady. She is a quiet leader. The example she set in class was just the beginning. Joey is a leader in her extracurriculars and community activities. And if you don't believe me, you should hear her medals clanging as she is walking into class in her ROTC uniform. She has also advocated for herself and others this year, and it is such an honor to see her blossom into the strong young lady we see tonight. Joey, I am so proud of your ability to not only achieve great academic things, but to persist throughout the last year. I can't even begin to comprehend the challenges you had to overcome to learn and learn well in the midst of the pandemic, and to do so remotely with grace and confidence. I know that you will make us Viking proud with all you do in the future, and the university you will be attending is so lucky to have you. I wish you the very best as you embark on your next adventure. Ladies and gentlemen, Joey Lynn.
Hello, my name is Joey Lynn, and I'm grateful to stand up here today. And I want to give a big thank you from heart to everyone who has supported me all the way here, and especially Ms. Setter.
Please join me in welcoming our next presenter, Mrs. Kelly.
I gotta take this mask off, which is really weird, but I'm here. Hey. Ella said something to me the other day that I thought was kind of interesting. She said, I don't think my freshman self would like my senior self. I was like, Ella, you know what? I liked your freshman self. I liked your sophomore self, and your junior self, and your senior self. You see, I got to be one of the lucky ones, and I started with Ella as a freshman, and I got to teach her for all 4 years, and it's something that's very rare, so I got to see her grow. Ella started as a very shy freshman in our publications newspaper class, and quickly she showed me what an incredible writer she is. I was so impressed that summer before school ended, I asked her if she wanted to go to the high school journalism institute at IU. Now, Ella is younger than most of her classmates, so it was a huge thing to do. At 14 years old, she spent a week on IU's campus by herself, and she excelled. It was amazing. The next year, I was very, very lucky, and I had Ella in 2 classes. I had her as a sophomore in honors class, and again in publications. That year, Ella made history, and she became the youngest ever, at least since I've been advisor, and I think in the history of Odin's Word, the youngest ever editor-in-chief as a sophomore. That is not an easy thing to do, because most of the people she had to lead were older than her, but she did it very well, and this is typical of this young lady. Ella is so hardworking and diverse. Somehow she's managed to do it all in the last 4 years. I mean, obviously, top 20, she's a great scholar, right? She's been involved with athletics and music and theater and volunteering with the bookmobile and, of course, being in charge of the school paper. There are just too many things to list. Ella, I'm very sorry that this stupid pandemic took away our final season together. Instructing you as a remote teacher was just not the same, but we made it work. Ella even managed to be a part of a really cool experience with Channel 9 WCPO News. Nothing stops her. She did it in a remote way. Nothing stops this young lady. So I just want to tell you, I'm going to miss you so much next year, but I'm very excited to see what amazing things you accomplish on your way to becoming a journalist, and I'm glad that I can inspire you in that career. It's going to be totally epic. Ella Hiles.
Good evening. They say home is where the heart is. While that statement might not ring true for many places, it certainly does for Princeton. During my years as a Princeton student, I have gained so many new experiences, made many friends along the way, and learned so much about not only the world, but myself. I would like to start off by thanking the many teachers I have had over the years. Without your insight, patience, and guidance, I would not be standing up here today. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. The next people I would like to thank are the friends I have made while here. The bonds I have will always stay with me, and I sincerely thank you for being great people to me. Last, but certainly not least, I would like to thank my family. Now, where to start with my family? Although I could list countless things, I want to thank my family for always pushing me to be the best version of myself, and for continuously trying to understand how I perceive the world. Although I know I can be a handful, I truly am grateful for you letting me explore the world and molding me into the woman I am today. Thank you so, so much. Now, going into my next phase in life, I am pleased to announce that I will be attending Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia in the fall of 2021, where I will be majoring in journalism. While I might be saying, go Thundering Herd for the next 4 years, I will forever say go Vikes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Princeton. And good night.
Please join me and welcome our next presenter, Mr. Lonnie Douche.
As mentioned, I am Lonnie Douche. I teach chemistry and material science here at the high school. I'm here to introduce Josh Kinney, a young man I was lucky enough to teach for 2 years, or rather, about a year and a half, not counting last year's extended spring break, as Governor DeWine euphemistically put it. In fact, that extended spring break last year brings me to the first of a few incidents, or rather events about Josh that I want to mention. During the quarantine, Josh had been working at Kroger at ClickList, duty that apparently at the time wasn't exactly as strenuous as it would become in a few months. And Josh mentioned that he had some free time in working the job, and that his manager apparently got unhappy with him because he wanted to do homework during his free time. Not that he wanted to be on social media, not that he necessarily wanted to be on his phone playing games, but rather that Josh was trying to do homework when he had some downtime. And he commented to me that his manager was not happy about that. I respect Josh for trying to push and try to get his work done in spite of that. I also respect the fact that a few months later, when the job became a heck of a lot harder, as we went into quarantine and apparently all of us decided that we needed Josh to pull our groceries off of the shelves for us, he voluntarily cut back on his hours that I'm really hopeful involved pandemic pay, because I certainly know the grocery store folks earned that. But he decided to cut back on his hours because he had AP tests coming up. Mine in particular, AP Chemistry being one of those. And Josh cut back on his hours so that he could show up regularly to our tutoring sessions that we were holding remotely. And he being one of only 3 or 4 folks, many of whom were actually backstage with us tonight, I was thrilled that he was willing to do that. Then this year, when I actually didn't have Josh in class, the first year in a couple that I haven't, I heard that Josh was considering attending my alma mater, Wabash College. Now, for many people, if you attended Ohio State, hearing that a student decides that perhaps they're going to Ohio State, I'm sure it merits a nice. You and 10,000 of your friends are considering going there. I, on the other hand, as a graduate of Wabash College, I have about 800 people every year at Wabash College. It's a tiny little liberal arts college just west of Indianapolis. And I want to say to Josh, if I haven't ever said it directly to him, I am honored and thrilled that you would even consider my college. It's his business to say where he's actually going. I'm not going to, but I am absolutely thrilled that I can bring Josh out here. And Josh, come on out.
This one's going to be short and simple. So first I'd like to thank my fellow classmates for pushing me to work harder and strive for more. Next I want to thank all my teachers that either saw my interest or disinterest in their class and worked just a little extra to create a love for that class. Without your extra effort, I definitely wouldn't be here in the top 20, and I wouldn't have the love for learning that I leave Princeton with. Finally, and most importantly, I'd like to thank my parents for everything they've done for me. Thank you for teaching me how to work hard and teaching me to value my knowledge. Thanks for loving me unconditionally, helping me to think independently. I want to thank my mom for teaching me to love and appreciate others. You've taught me to put myself in others' shoes, and you've taught me to have compassion. You've taught me to have meaningful conversations and how to be socially and environmentally aware. And I'll carry those values with me wherever I go. I want to especially thank my dad for teaching me to work with my hands and teaching me everything he knows on how to be a man. You've not only taught me how to do so many things, but you've taught me to solve problems on my own and how to teach myself new things along the way. For all of these, I am grateful. Thank you all for coming to support me tonight.
Our next presenter tonight will be Mrs. Emily Manelli.
When I first became Madeline's teacher, she was a freshman in my French 2 class. In the beginning, she was often quiet, but she always showed a passion for the French language and culture. Teachers love their students, but there's always a special bond with those who truly love and appreciate your content in the same way that you do. One of Madeline's most endearing qualities is how caring she is. It comes naturally to her. One of my favorite memories of her is from a National Honor Society induction ceremony a couple of years ago. It was late in the evening, and I had to bring my kids, who were at the time 4 and 2. I didn't have anyone to help out with them, and I was running around trying to get everything ready. Madeline is so observant and empathetic that she saw I needed help. She stepped in without hesitating, offering to watch them for me during the ceremony. It was late in the evening, and I knew they were going to be a handful, but I also knew that with Madeline's maturity and patience that they would be in good hands. In the middle of the ceremony, I looked to the back of the auditorium, and I saw the 3 of them sitting together. Tommy was sitting next to her, and Nico was sitting on her lap, and they were both beaming. To me, it spoke so much to her personality. She's gentle and kind-hearted, but she's also a capable, strong, and trustworthy leader. The latter is a side of Madeline that I've truly enjoyed watching grow throughout the 4 years that I've known her, and that has really flourished in these final months of her senior year. It can be challenging to navigate the world when you have a heart as big as Madeline does. To be empathetic and intuitive can set you up to be hurt, to suffer disappointment, to be taken advantage of, or to burn out. There have been times when I've worried that for all of Madeline's sweet-natured characteristics, she would struggle to find her voice when she needed it. But this year, I began seeing a change in Madeline that bolstered my confidence in her. There were some bumps along the way. It was, needless to say, a challenging year. But I think in a way that the challenges that Madeline faced began to mold her into who she has become. I watched her uncover her resilience to speak her mind more and more and to take on a larger leadership role among her peers. She's learning to speak her mind, stand up for what she believes in, and to trust herself. She's found her voice. This became most apparent to me when she stepped out onto the stage during her final VCE showcase. She stood in the spotlight and gave an amazing performance. She showed talent, confidence, poise, and above all else, her strong voice. Madeline, I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to see all the ways that you're successful.
Hello, my name is Madeline Sherwood, and I'm honored to be standing up here in front of you all. I have been at Princeton all of my life. 13 years of endless memories and a family that will last a lifetime. I can't express in words how grateful I am for the endless opportunities Princeton has offered me. From the incredible music program to the advanced placement programs to the Youth Built Change research class, there was never a shortage of opportunities. I have everlasting memories of going to Hawaii and Disney World with the music department. My perspective of the world has changed for the better through taking classes at Princeton, including the Youth Built Change research class. The advanced placement program allowed me to find my passion for environmental science, leading me to find my career path of sustainability and business. I would like to give a huge thank you to all of the teachers, staff, and students who I have eternal love for. A special shout out to Madame Minelli, Mrs. Sparks, Mrs. Heckman, and Mr. Stevens for being a bright light every day and always putting a smile on my face. Another extra special shout out goes out to my mom, dad, sister, family, friends, and sweet dog who have brought me here. Thank you forever. And to all of you, thank you for having me. Just for a moment, pretend like you haven't heard this a billion times tonight. And as always, go Vikes.
Our next presenter is Mr. Phillips.
Good evening. It is my great pleasure to speak on behalf of Tommy Benjamin this evening. One unique facet of being a music educator is that I get the privilege of teaching my students for 7 years straight. I first got to know Tommy when he was 11 years old, when he joined 6th grade band in the fall of 2014. Tommy was a shy, well-mannered young man, and it has been so enjoyable to watch him grow up throughout the last 7 years into the accomplished individual you're about to see before you. In a class that is strongly characterized by success both academically and musically, Tommy truly stands above. He is dependable, hardworking, fun to be around, and a genuinely loyal person. He has shown tremendous leadership skills throughout his time in the Princeton music program and models our core values of integrity, kindness, and effort. He has accomplished a great deal in our music department, but his successes are not localized to just the music department. Multiple academic awards, scholarships, superior adjudication ratings have marked Tommy's high school career, but anybody that knows Tommy knows that this is just the beginning of his successes in the world. In the 7 years that I've known Tommy, one thing has become very clear to me. Tommy doesn't work hard for recognition. He doesn't study hard or practice hard for the certificates, the trophies, or to have his name read on the announcements. He exemplifies Viking pride because it's the right thing to do and because his successes have a positive impact on those around him. He will leave a legacy of greatness behind him, and no question, Princeton High School is a better place because of Tommy Benjamin.
Thank you for coming tonight. I just want to give a thank you to you, number one, and my parents, my friends, for just pushing me through everything, through school, through life, just teachers especially. You, I would say number one. Just music has really pushed me through a lot. It's helped me through a lot, and it's grown me as a person. I'd say probably the most significantly throughout high school. Second with work, and my parents. I'd like to thank my mom for teaching me kindness and empathy, and my father for teaching me everything that I know about being a gentleman and all the hard work ethic that I I pride myself with now, and I would fully credit you with that. All my teachers just always pushed me through everything, always made sure that I was pushing myself to the best of my ability, made sure I was doing the best of my classes, doing all my work right. And I really felt like there was a real connection in all my classes. Like it wasn't just a get your work done so you can get a grade sort of thing. There was an actual connection. I felt like there was some sort of, there was just a big connection. The community at Princeton has been really important to me through these past 7 years now. So, thank you.
Our next presenter is Mrs. Setters.
How many high school students can command a stage with poise and power and hold the rapt attention of an auditorium full of teachers, parents, administrators, and peers? Ashley Boyd is, without a doubt, going to be a powerful force for good in this world. As a history teacher, having Ashley Boyd in class is an absolute honor. She came to class filled with a passion for justice and armed with an extensive knowledge of history, both in the greater common shared experience as well as personal family history. She was able to make connections for both herself and her peers regularly. In class, Ashley is both an eager participant in discussion as well as an in-depthly inclusive classmate who engages with peers of all backgrounds to both enrich herself and those around her. And unlike so many young people, she is a powerful advocate who is able to engage with adults as well as she can with peers. James Baldwin said, "Ignorance allied with power is the most ferocious enemy justice can have." Thank you for your dedication to leveraging your power to eradicate ignorance with a mission to bring more justice to the world. Ashley, the world needs more young people like you. Keep walking in power. You are Black girl magic personified. You are an amazing example of the power of young people, and I know you will not only achieve all of your goals, but you will make a difference in any community you are a part of. Ladies and gentlemen, Ashley Boyd.
Hello, everybody. This moment means a lot to me for a multitude of reasons. I fought hard to get here. The minute I heard about Top 20, I always wanted to be a part of it. But also because I got to learn and meet a lot of new people along the way. I got to be a part of so many maturing experiences, not only for myself, but with classmates. And this is all a commemoration to my hard work, my tears, my fight to be the best that I can be, but it's also a celebration of friends and people that I spent my high school years with. And it's a true blessing to know everyone here today and to also recognize quite a few of their parents who have also been so supportive of not only their children, but also the rest of the children up here. And I want to thank my dad and my grandmother and my mother because I know she's looking down on me. And I want to thank everyone, including my other Top 20 classmates, for being a part of my journey, no matter how big or small. And this moment has been a great journey for me. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming our next presenter, Mr. Zimmerman.
Good evening. I'm happy to be here to introduce the next young man, but I got to tell you first how he asked me to introduce him. He said, "Mr. Z, has anybody asked you to introduce them for the top 20? Because I've thought of a few other teachers, but they all have people." And, I don't hear anybody talking about asking you. So I was like, oh, of course. Now that story's a little silly, but it illustrates two things I love about working with Jimmy. The first is he has a great sense of humor. Of course, he was laughing the whole time, and he knew that he was giving me a great gift of a wonderful story to share. He also thinks very deeply about things, and even though that's a silly example, he had connected the dots and gotten to the logical conclusion. This would be a good person to ask. As his physics teacher the past couple years, I've seen this over and over from him. He thinks deeply about the subject and asks deep and important questions. I think I can demonstrate it best if I share with you a phrase I've said to Jimmy over the past 2 years more times than I can count. Jimmy, I have no idea how to answer that. I'm going to have to look it up, and I'll get back to you tomorrow. It's been an honor to teach him. It's been an honor to work with him. And it's been an honor to be his third or fourth choice for teacher presenter this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jimmy Morse.
5 years ago, I attended my sister's graduation ceremony, and after hearing the number 2 and number 1 speak, I remember leaning over to my mom and saying, "Mom, I want to be third." She said, "Why do you want to be third?" I said, "Because I don't want to give a speech on stage." And, well, here we are. And so I may not be able to say that I graduated first in my class, but at least I can say I achieved my goals. I'd like to thank my parents for the love and support. I'd like to thank my teachers, Mr. Zimmerman, Mr. Douche, for fostering my love for science and what ultimately led to my decision to major in chemical engineering. I'd like to thank my friends. I'd like to thank you guys for coming here today.
Please join me in welcoming our next presenter, Mr. Sullivan.
One of the great joys of being a teacher is that students are kind of awesome. So thank you to parents for all the great work you do raising kids for us to teach. Princeton's a fantastic community for this. Sometimes students wow us for their creativity, sometimes for their kindness or their maturity or sense of humor. But sometimes they wow us because it turns out they're better thinkers than we are, humbling as that is for us to admit as teachers. And AJ has that kind of mind. AJ White is the kind of student who seriously pursues excellence in all learning, no matter how trivial the task. He never gives up, no matter how daunting the challenges or how overwhelming the workload might be. And he always solves problems strategically, with purpose and determination. I teach information technology at Princeton, and as part of our program, we've got 6 college-level computer classes. The first one is intended to be a baseline course to help students build the skills they need to succeed at the other courses. And the other courses get challenging very quickly. Well, rather than start with the college-level introductory course to the program, AJ sort of jumped over that and dove deep into the hardest courses we offer, and he crushed them all. Who does that, really? I'll tell you who does that. The salutatorian of the class of 2021, AJ White.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. With your teaching, I was able to grow and develop my IT skills, quickly discovering my passion for IT. I took the opportunity of joining the IT program last year, and I'm glad that I did. I love the creativity and the challenges of the coding classes, and I will continue my IT career at UC next year. I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for the support from all my teachers, family, friends, and especially my mom. She has done so much for me,
and I could be up here for hours praising what she has done. But one of the most important things she has done for me is pushing me to do better. I'm pretty stubborn, but she's persistent at pushing me. She has helped plan out my high school classes and future college classes, and is the reason why I'm a salutatorian. I wish the best of luck to my fellow classmates. All of you should be proud of your hard work and accomplishments. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming our next presenter, Mrs. Williams.
Good evening. Tonight it is my great honor to introduce the valedictorian, Andrea George. It's quite a lot of pressure introducing the top student in the class, but there's even greater weight knowing I'm introducing Andrea. Andrea is one of those young women who, if I could fly back to my high school self, I'd say, this is your role model. As valedictorian, it's obvious that Andrea is very intelligent and driven. She's also really creative, very funny, compassionate, and thoughtful. When Andrea was a sophomore, she was in my very first AP class. It was a magical class with a beautiful blend of personalities and talents. That December, my father died after a lengthy illness. Andrea wrote me a letter that I still have on my bedside table. She told me I was one of the strongest, happiest, and most badass women she knew. She talked of my class being a safe space for her and how she felt like we were a family in that 6-7 bell. I want her to know I felt the same way. Her unconditional love and support helped me get through that very difficult time. And the bond that I have with Andrea has grown as the years have passed and we've experienced life's ups and downs. She is a bright light, and I've cherished every moment with her. Now she's off to her next adventure, and trust me, this badass of the class of 2021 will change the world. Andrea George.
I'd first like to thank Miss Williams. She has supported me all throughout high school, especially since I've had her since I was a freshman. She's constantly encouraged me and just shown me that I can do anything. And it just reminds me how many amazing teachers we have here. We have such a great support system, and I have my biggest support system sitting in the middle. I'm just so thankful for all the people that have pushed me and supported me throughout my entire life. My family, all my friends, all the teachers, all the administration. I'm just so blessed to be able to be here and to be able to say that, it's here. It doesn't actually feel real that it's here, but, it's starting to get real. And it's just not the year we imagined it to be, but, I just had so many amazing memories all throughout high school with all of my friends and amazing teachers that I couldn't have asked for anything better. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
At this time, if I can have all of the students and the presenters to come out on the stage, please. this time you feel free to take photos. At this time, can I have the presenters exit and just have the students, please? It is my honor to present to you the class of 2021 Top 20.
Thank you, everybody. Just before we leave, we're so excited about this Sunday, May 16th. We're going to be here at 10:45 a.m. We're going to roll out at 12:15, but start boarding the buses at 11:45. Our main priority before, during, and after is the same as prom, and that is safety. So let's take care of our young people before, during, and after. You know, it's been such a privilege being the head principal here. Our young people do so many different things. And our administration, when we meet every morning at 6:25 in the morning, we say to ourselves, how do they do all these different things and still maintain the academic integrity? It is quite remarkable. You know, we are so proud of them. We want everybody to have a great night. We're ready to celebrate this coming Sunday. Have a good night, and as always, go Vikes!